Hello, this is my Brimstone guide on Ascent. This is going to be mainly focused at helping fill players fill smokes. We're going to start off on defense. So on defense, we're mainly going to be sitting in this area here. This is because we can smoke both lengths of the map, like this. So it's pretty easy. We can smoke basically everywhere we need to from this position or around this position. So this is going to be what you're going to do basically when you don't have any reads or you don't have any specific plays you want to make. If you have obviously more specific plays you want to make, you'll be doing those instead. That can be like judge logs or something, or judge close A, or just playing close A. Maybe you'll play with a teammate. Maybe a teammate has asked for someone to break a dart for them in mid or something, so you're going to be playing up mid or something like this, and you're going to be breaking the dart for them in mid, and then you're going to be falling back. Or maybe you'll be fighting tiles with a teammate for flash or something. So it's about following calls, or if you don't have any calls to follow or any reads to use, sitting here is an option that's not going to go too far wrong. You do have options to stall as well with your ult and with your molly. So you can molly choke points like this, or you can do the same on A. Generally, smokes like Omen will play A. You don't have to do that on Brimstone, as I said. Like, you don't really have like the flexibility of Omen, where he can smoke across the map, right? Brimstone's much more of an explosive, like aggro type agent, so he doesn't really have the flexibility that Omen might have, at least on Ascent. So we're not going to really go over like too much about anything else on defense. This is kind of how I play defense. It's really basic and really easy. Generally, I think when you get better at playing smokes, you're going to be moving over to Omen on Ascent, but this is a good starting point where essentially the game plan is to sit in this position, otherwise follow reads. Okay, so let's talk about the retake. So on the retaking B, so first of all, actually, I'm going to talk about the actual rotation itself. I'm not usually going to be stimming when I'm rotating, when I'm in mid, simply because the time like I'm getting is not actually going to be that impactful, I don't think. However, when we actually rotate like full lengths of the map, it's going to be quite impactful to be there faster, because at that point we are the limiting factor for our team going in as a team, right? They're going to be waiting on us most of the time if we're on the other length of the map. However, if we're mid, we're not going to be the last ones there. And generally, we're going to be slowing ourselves down to kind of coordinate a retake if possible, right? So we don't need to stim when we're in mid, but if we need to retake A and we're B, generally we're going to be stimming because we're going to be the last people there. And it's just going to help us to have more time when we're actually retaking. So when it comes to actually retaking B, there are some smokes you can do. First of all, you can do smokes boathouse if you have 2 smokes. These are can be quite strong to like stop people from fighting you early on in the retake. So if they are populating other areas, you can isolate the players in back boathouse to not fight with their team, and to like kind of clear some front sight as well, and that kind of lane, to kind of get those sort of fights. Obviously they can push through it, but it's going to make the round a bit more explosive, which generally favors Brimstone and usually the agents that he's paired with. The other smokes we can do, this one main. This will just stop the main player from peeking you as you're running at CT. Bear in mind that this smoke can be detrimental if the person main is like a flash agent or something, because it can just mean that they have a flash to kind of they're smoke to use off of like a pop flash, right? So you need to be careful with this smoke. Other smokes you can kind of do are usually ones on the bomb. However, on this site, it's not really massively useful. The only time really like smoking the bomb is massively useful on this site is when they're not actually on the site. So when they like, maybe you've got down to a 1v1 and the last person is the lurker and they're lurking market, so that way this smoke is actually a bit more impactful. Probably actually don't want to put it on the boxes either. You want to put it away from the boxes, just because there's more space for you to work with, because the boxes are already like obstructing where you can go anyway. So there's more opportunity for you to like peek out in a weird angle compared to if you put like mainly all the smoke on the box. So you want to put it out like this. And that's kind of it for retaking B. Next we'll go over to retaking A. So retaking A, generally, going to be looking for a main smoke like this. The smoke on A is a bit more impactful, as generally the way that players will play A will have like some post plant setup from main usually, or maybe even from tree, and they'll do like an A to plant potentially like this over here. So these smokes are quite useful in these situations because they're not going to be like directly super close to the smoke, and they're not in walking distance basically, so they can't silently walk up to the smoke like they could do on B backside, right? From this smoke to here, or like from boathouse to this smoke. Right here. So these smokes are a lot more impactful because they kind of have to spray them from this angle, or if they walk up, generally they're going to be worried about time and they're going to be running up to you instead of walking. So they are a lot more impactful. Relies a lot more on utility to beat this smoke basically compared to the B1. And that's kind of it for like post-plant stuff. Obviously there's mollies and there's your ult as well. But that can be a little bit more contextual. You can like ult wine in a retake, or you can molly wine in a retake or whatever, right? To like, or you can even use it to like push people out of angles. So you can use it like dice here, push people away out of dice if you know that someone likes to crouch there and sit there. But that kind of stuff is going to be very contextual. So I'm not going to say like how you do like everything here, but as I just want to keep this brief and basic. So yeah, that's going to be it. We're going to go over onto attack. So on attack, we're going to start off with A. And sometimes if you're going very, very fast, you can use your stim basically instantly off the round and just go straight in. That's sometimes how rushes are played in ranked. Sometimes in ranked, people get stuck at this smoke. If you find that happening a lot, then I would wait until the actual take starts before you throw a stim. You would stim a bit here instead. When it comes to the smokes of A site, the main one you're going to be doing is this one in tree. It is the most important one, as it allows you to kind of close door without being directly shot at. You will obviously get spammed, but it will allow you to close door. Next, we'll talk about this smoke up here. So this smoke is important, and I'll show you why. The reason why this smoke here can be important, at least, is not essential, but it's quite important. So it means that the people of Hell and Heaven can clear angles like one by one, basically, right? And you have to excuse the way I clear personally. Yeah, but basically the idea is that basically up here they can clear angles one by one instead of clearing all the like with this smoke. Launching smoke. They walk out the smoke and they're already having to like clear multiple angles in an instant, right? So that they're exposed to so many different angles that they can't clear them one by one. So this is the reason why this smoke is useful, right? Because it stops them from being safely like isolating fights. They actually have to take multiple fights at once if someone's watching this smoke. You want to do it kind of out as possible, sorry, as in as possible. You don't want to like make it go out here. Like I see, sometimes I've actually seen people in Immortal do these smokes. Don't do these smokes. Don't do these smokes. They are horrendous because what happens is that one flash means that everyone can drop out smokes. So 3 people walking out on Heaven, 1 flash, and 3 people are out on site instantly. That can happen like this. Even just one player just abusing this little corner, this little corner that existed, could be like the way to lose the round. So do not do those smokes. You want to keep this space open because these people up here are vulnerable to multiple positions, and they are going to be like moving into a crosshair trap basically of multiple players most of the time, or a lot of the time. If you are splitting A, then you won't be doing this smoke. Instead, you'll be doing this smoke. Smoke's down. So splitting A means that you're going to be doing this smoke. And you can also do the smoke too, if you want to too. I think you generally would do this smoke if you don't have. So if you've the only reason why you wouldn't do this smoke, sorry, is if you only have one smoke. This smoke is more important, and this smoke is more important to those to the rounds where you don't split. You would smoke here. To the rounds you split, you would go here. So those smokes are more important. Don't worry about this smoke too much, but it is nice to have it if you have it. Next we'll go over onto mid. So on mid, the smoke's on mid. You will be asked to smoke this a lot. Or at least a decent amount. As you can see, if you smoke it like this, there's going to be some angles. Sorry, there's going to be some angles where you will die. So generally, what you want to do is you want to basically put the smoke out a little bit like this. Launching smoke. And the reason why you want to do this is because, first of all, you won't get peeked like this, which is more important than what the alternative is for the enemy. So first of all, they can't actually peek out the right side, because look at this. There's a nice little like fridge here or generator, whatever you want to call it, where they can't actually move it that side. So what happens is that they're not gonna. Basically, you can see everywhere they can peek out of from one position. You're not worried about someone like going out the left side, like going out this side, without someone up here spotting it, because you can see everywhere they can come out of. So don't worry about smoking like super flush with the wall here. We want to make sure it's a bit out, smokes down, so we can actually cross short. That's one of the most important things that I don't see people do. Next is like, so I also refer to these smokes as something different. A lot of people would talk like smoke mid or whatever. I call this mid 1, this mid 2, and this mid 3. That's a really important call out to me for clarity that I think that a lot of people don't have yet, but I think this will get to a point where people do call like this. Because these just make these smokes super easy to come about and to call for, and to call out when you've actually placed them. Obviously, like right now, it's probably not going to be too super clear because people aren't going to understand what you mean by that. But I think as over time, people are going to pick up mid 1, 2, 3. At least I hope they do. And that's kind of it for mid. It's kind of like how you're going to play slow in some rounds, and like how you're going to take short. You will need a smoke here when you go short, so you're going to need these two smokes at some point. Obviously, you're probably not going to be placing them together. You're going to be placing this smoke at the start, and then you're going to be placing this smoke when it's relevant, and then you might place the smoke to finish, or you might say that one smoke and you can use it in like maybe a more in a better position, maybe if there's like a reason to place it here for post plant and that kind of stuff. And you might want to save that smoke instead of having one rafters. Kind of depends on the context of the round, which is very, very important to read. Next we have B. So on B, once again, if you're going fast, you can stim instantly. If you tend to get delayed over here, you can stim when you're actually going out. Next we have the two smokes, which is going to be these two smokes generally. And these two smokes are going to be the main ones you're going to do. Also, this is also kind of relevant for A, but not as relevant for A. But you can molly these as well if you are worried about any flooding. So anyone that's flashing through, walking through, like peeking through, whatever. You can do these mollies, or at least one of the mollies, to stop that from happening through one of the smokes, if you're concerned about it. Otherwise, you can save a post. However, post on this map doesn't really favour that, on this map, on this site, doesn't really favour Brim. You're not really going to be playing post from like super far away, you're going to be playing back site. And in that case, like, Brimstone isn't super valuable when you're going B too much. Like, he has decent util still, but like generally when Brimstone has his ult up and his molly up, you want to be going A, because A tends to have a lot more stuff going on for post plant for him. And that's kind of it for B. And we're just going to go over to post plant A, and then we're going to be done with the video. I'll talk about some stuff as well about smokes. There's two mollies I'll show. The ult is obviously straightforward. You basically point the click where you want it. There's like maybe some like more like optimized positions where you can place your ult, but I don't know what they are necessarily. I usually just place them where I need them. So this is the lineup. So we want to aim. We want to use this here on our bottom right hood, and then we want to fire this. So this goes gen.
Right here.
This for this plant, and then I've got one for this plant. It goes gen, and then we've got one for the outer plant, which is on this corner, and then we want to use the antenna on the like this part of the hood. I'm not sure how to actually say what that is, like curve of the hood, I guess. And basically what happens is it's going to land the outer plant, and then when it's done, you can like contest from short. You might see this from like Sovers as well, from like back in the day, from actually a couple of years ago. Sovers would do like lineups off here, and then they would contest. It's very similar sort of way of thinking, basically. That's kind of it for the post plants. One thing I will say quickly about smokes in general is that just because I've showed you, sorry, like these like set smokes, right, for A or whatever, like this set smoke for mid.
Launching smoke.
Don't be afraid of like when you have the opportunity to use a smoke that isn't a set one, like one of these. So for instance, use one like if you're retaking, right, and you can use one like this or whatever, like two like this or whatever, and it helps you get out sight. Like in a really dumb way, probably don't jump, probably just like walk off site like this. Helps you get onto site. Use them. Like these aren't really set smokes. These are like context potentially good smokes. This is just one example of the many different smokes you could use like this. Obviously, Omen is going to do a lot better doing these, right? His smokes are a bit more easy to put in different places, like on top of things and that kind of stuff. He can TP, so he can TP into them. He can place disconnected smokes because of that. So, but with Brim, you have to place kind of connected smokes. But at the same time, I think Brimstone can still do like that kind of style as well when he needs to. And don't be afraid of doing that, because that's how you're going to learn when they're useful. So that's it for the guide. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one.